Conflict resolution in a professional environment. Today, I'll be giving you a guide to maneuvering the tricky world of interpersonal relations in the workplace when things go south. Good afternoon, and thank you for giving me your time and attention in order to present my topic to you today. My name is Adam McLean. Thanks to my previous experience as a full-time student at Arkansas State Jonesboro and as a low-voltage technology install supervisor and a manager, I've been given the opportunity to help others maneuver the tricky world of conflict and conflict management. I'll go over how one can manage conflict in three principal domains: peer-to-peer, from the management perspective, peer-to-peer, and from the management perspective, dealing with an individual in crisis. My primary objective is to give you the tools that I believe are necessary to become an effective mediator and de-escalate crisis in your workplace. First, I'll discuss conflict between you and another coworker. While researching this topic, I found a very helpful acronym introduced to me by Jenny Byron, MD, PhD, in one of her YouTube videos. The acronym is STABEN, S-T-A-B-E-N. Source, time, place, amicable approach, behavior, emotion, and need. Source: what's the source of the conflict? Time, place, when and where did it occur? Furthermore, when and where to discuss the conflict. Amicable approach, coming together, discussing things respectfully. Behavior: what was the behavior that caused it? And secondly, how will your behavior be when you discuss it? Emotion: what was the emotional response to the conflict? And again, another double meaning: what emotion do you bring to the table when you discuss it? And need: what do you need? What does the other party need? How will you compromise? Simply put, identify the source of the conflict, approach the issue amicably, identify the behavior that is the issue, explain how this conflict and behavior makes you feel. Finally, clearly state what must be done for both parties to resolve the issue. 5 more tips for interpersonal conflict resolution that I found helpful when researching would be to recognize and control your feelings, be willing to forgive and apologize, don't just listen but hear, and negotiate and compromise. Secondly, conflict resolution as a manager, dealing with dispute between coworkers. Tackling conflict between individuals as manager is your responsibility. Mediating requires you to be able to sit there and allow the two individuals to speak, simply being a conduit. In order to do this, it's best to be proactive and get out ahead of a crisis before it's permitted to simmer and these two individuals become resentful towards each other. Sometimes we're all dealing with difficult people, and in this case, the step might be training. Maybe they're incompetent, or if they have a difficult personality, maybe they need to be spoken with, maybe they need to receive some kind of HR training, whatever it might be. In the worst case scenario, separation is an unfortunate option that is on the table. Investigate the issue at hand. At times, even if you're being a conduit, you've sat these two down, you've been listening, you've been allowing them to discuss and try and come to a conclusion. That's not always the answer. Sometimes it's a structural issue and policy changes need to be made. Establish communication. Again, you're the conduit, you're allowing these two to speak, and you are helping facilitate a solution. Finally, enact change, whether that be the two parties coming together to make a decision on an amicable solution to the problem, or it might be a policy change on your part, or clearly defining roles in the team. Maybe you did not clearly delineate a line between their roles in the team. You didn't properly delegate. That's all a part of enacting the change and reassessing the situation. Finally, we'll discuss conflict resolution involving a team member in crisis. Responding to someone in crisis is oftentimes an intimidating and difficult situation to find oneself in. As a manager, being attentive and communicating with your team regularly is the key to understanding the individuals in your team. If you ever notice a team member has become depressed, irate, maybe they've stopped talking, they've stopped doing work, it's best to sit down with them, become that empathetic listener, perform the act of listening, and try and hear out their perspective and just get a feel for what the issue might be. Establish rapport, let them know that you understand their perspective, reassure them that their thoughts are valid and that you're there to help. Finally, after the crisis has subsided, if it's a work-related one, obviously, you can debrief with them in a meeting. see if the issue at hand had been resolved. If it's an issue with a coworker, you can always go back to that second step and become that conduit for communication and help them out. It's an issue with at home. Best you can do most of the time is just hear them out and do what you can to build a work environment that's positive and that they can, feel content in. Finally, to conclude, I hope that this has been an enjoyable and informative presentation going forward. I encourage you all to take these tips and to use them in your personal and professional lives. Whether you're dealing with interpersonal conflict or conflict as a manager or helping a team member in crisis, I hope that this presentation prepares you to effectively maneuver the situation at hand and to effectively make compromise, de-escalate crisis situations, and create win-win solutions for you, your business, and personal relations. Thank you, and have a great day. Enjoy the weekend.